could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning.
Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. Today we're going to be talking about marriage. How long did your marriage last? Are you still married? Do you need marriage advice? We're back with our guest today. We'll tell you who it is. 436-ME TV. Remember, hit option 11 and turn down the sound on your television.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
If you want to ask the expert, all you have to do is call in on today's program on Connect with Me, live on Comcast Channel 187, 43.6. Of course, if you have an antenna, you already know that by now. And hopefully you already know the number by now. It's 436-ME TV. You can hit option 11. Remember, you don't have to wade through the message. You can just hit option 11 immediately, as soon as possible, as soon as your fingers can do the walking. And also remember, a lot of people call in and you have great questions. Most of your questions are better than mine, of course, but you have to remember to turn down the sound on your television, because we won't be able to hear you. We'll be saying, hello, caller, are you there? And we'll get nothing. So turn down the sound if you do want to call in. Today's topic could be a hot one. We've got the numbers for you on marriage. We're going to be talking about marriage. We'll be talking about divorce as well. As you well know, the divorce rate is through the roof, not only in this state, but around the country. California is not the only one, although California has one of the lowest divorce rates in the entire nation, believe that or not. We'll show you the numbers a bit later on. But what does marriage mean to you? I mean, I've been married once, went through a bad divorce. Many of you, I'm sure, have. Perhaps some of you have been married a long time. I know my parents were married the better part of 65 years of matrimony. It was wonderful. Boy, they were devoted to each other. But in this day and age, why are there so many divorces? You know, you plan a wedding, sometimes a year in advance, where you're going to have it, where the reception is going to be, how much money you can spend on this particular wedding. And then first thing you know, things go haywire after, of course, the marriage takes place. But what is a wedding all about? Hey, they say it's supposed to be one of the happiest days of your life. Take a look.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you.
Look at that video and you wonder, are they still married? Let's hope so. Live in our studio right now is Ron McLain of the Healthy Marriage Coalition. He's going to offer some advice for you, and we'll show you the numbers on divorce And, you know, marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime. At least it was way back when. But it seems like now people get married for the most ridiculous reasons, I guess you could say. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11. Remember, turn down the sound and don't wade through the message. We're back with our guest, Ron McLain, in just a moment.
I'm Trip Douglas.
Welcome home and stuff.
And I'm Ernie Douglas.
James Bond, Secret Agent 007.
And we're here to tell you.
Ernie!
Just a minute, Uncle Charlie.
Come on, Ernie, you're gonna be late for school.
We're doing a promo for MeTV and junk.
Ernie, Chip,
Yes, Dad.
come here a minute, will you?
We'll be down in a minute. As I was saying. Tramp, be quiet. Tramp?
Hey, have you guys seen Robbie? Oh, hi, I'm Katie Douglas.
We're my three sons.
Ernie, I had to learn about women like Melissa through long, tough experience.
Let me make my own mistakes. They're half the fun.
And one daughter-in-law.
Thanks. Now I really feel like one of the family.
Watch me on MeTV.
You think girls are just boys' gift wrap.
Weekday mornings at 7, 6 Central on MeTV.
It's real neat.
We're back here on Connect with Me talking about marriage and / divorce today. We're going to take a look at the numbers in just a few minutes, but time to introduce our guest, Ron McLain of the Healthy Marriage Coalition. How are you, Ron?
Doing great, John. Thanks.
Very interesting topic today, huh?
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I wonder how many phone calls we're going to generate. Of course, you're the expert on some of this, and you've been keeping figures, data since, 1984, it seems like. And the numbers haven't fluctuated that much from one way or the other. Why do you think that is?
You know, that's a great question, and I don't know the answer to that because I'm not a statistician. But I think there's a lot of different reasons probably as far as people getting married later in life. Are
they getting married later in life now?
Yeah.
Why is that?
The average age is like 28 for men and about 26 for women. I think it's because they're afraid. They're afraid because they have seen their parents' generation fail in large part in their marriages, and they're scared. And they want to make sure that they make the right decision. The issue with that is they're so set in their ways at that age that oftentimes that becomes a problem when they get married.
Okay, they're set in their ways, but what about career decisions? Does that stand in the way as well?
It can stand in the way, and we encourage people to make sure that if you are going to go to school and get into a career that you can do that, but you don't necessarily have to wait until you've graduated and get into a career before you get married. It just depends on who you are and your personality and all that. So.
I do want to put the numbers up. How about the divorce rate here in Fresno County? All right, here they are, and we only put the numbers up dating back to 2008, but there have been anywhere from 3,600 to 4,000 divorces per year here in Fresno County. Would you put that number at high or low in terms of position right now? Is that a high number?
I would say it's too high. I think Sacramento County has a higher number than that. The reason why, John, it's too high is because of all the lives that it affects and the cost to taxpayers whenever there's a divorce.
Now, we couldn't, go all the way back to 1984 and put those up on the screen. There's just too many of them. But just to put this in a concise form, the numbers that you just saw up on the screen, if we can put them up one more time, they haven't changed that much since 1984, which is amazing. I mean, look at that, 3,600 to 4,000. I mean, it's gone up and down just a little bit in the past 30-plus years, but not that much. You think, a different generation, a different time in 1984 than we have today. There was no internet, there were no cell phones, no texting, no email, and yet you still had the same divorce rate back in 1984, roughly speaking, as you do today.
Right.
Answer, why?
I believe there are more programs available, more premarital counseling, more marriage resources available for couples today. Keep in mind the population has gone up significantly since 1984.
Yeah, but why haven't those numbers changed since 1984?
I believe it's because people have more tools to have good marriages, and divorces aren't happening at the same rate.
Here's the other question I have, and you just touched on it. There are more counselors, more marriage counselors today than ever before. It's not working. Why?
I have several reasons why I believe
it's not working. The numbers show, proof is in the pudding. The numbers show, and they bear out.
Yeah. Well, John, counselors are pretty much for couples that are in trouble. Our theory is you've got to be proactive working with couples, not reactive. And so our whole organization is all about getting couples before they get married, right after they get married, and equipping them with skills so that they can learn how to deal with the issues that they're going to deal with.
Are you saying that counselors are not proactive enough? They're just reactive?
Well, yeah. If I want to go to a counselor, they're not going to search out for me. I'm going to search out for them. You know, I have to have a problem first, especially men. Men, you know, won't seek out a counselor usually until it's too late because, you know, we're pretty macho and we can do it ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to people before. For instance, the average wedding in Fresno County used to be around $20,000. After every wedding comes a marriage. How much money does a couple spend on marriage preparation? And the answer to that is very little, less than $500.
But on the actual wedding, the average is what?
$20,000.
Okay.
So the answer, the question I ask couples at bridal fairs is, you know, the day after you're married, you know, how much have you invested into those times and getting together, having good skills, and knowing how to work through conflict? Because that's life. The wedding day is wonderful, but that's not really reality.
Okay, but when you get married and then suddenly 6 months later or a year later or whenever, you suddenly hit a bump in the road and there is a problem, and you go see a counselor, what should you look for in that counselor? What do you need in terms of help? What should that counselor be doing to help you and your significant other?
Correct. First of all, I believe a counselor should be pro-marriage, meaning that they really want to help that couple make it, depending on if the couple wants to make it. Obviously they do if they're going to counseling. And they should also teach that couple skills on how to communicate, how to resolve conflict, and what to do when one of them gets too hot and needs to walk away and take a time out.
Does that usually work?
It helps because a lot of counselors, honestly, and I'm all for counseling, I'm a counselor myself, but there are many counselors out there that will just sit and listen and say whatever you guys want to do and just be...
But they won't offer advice?
Not too much.
Why?
I don't know. Or
well, that doesn't help, does it?
No. If they do offer advice, it's, well, you just need to do what your heart's telling you to do.
Do married couples lack the skill set to solve problems?
300% yes. That, John, is the biggest issue I have found in our work is that couples are getting married. They have no idea how to communicate, how to resolve conflicts, how to start a conversation with an underlying good about the other person. And so that, to me, is the biggest problem in the church, too, is that we have not taught our couples relationship skills.
Yeah, and so you're saying also at the same time the counselors are not coming to the rescue because they're not offering the skill set and the advice. Most
are not. There are some really good counselors out there. My experience is there are many that just kind of sit and listen and say, well, you guys just need to do what you want to do. And what we say is, look, let's equip you with skills. We have 10 skills we teach. If you have these skills and you have issues, because most couples that get divorced still love each other, they just can't get along. And so we're trying to give people a toolbox of skills that they can take that toolbox out and use it at the appropriate time.
We'll talk about some of those skills on the other side of the break and what you offer couples, because you're a counselor as well. So we'll ask your advice on what to do. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11. Don't wait through the message. Remember, turn down the sound on your television. We're back with Ron McLain, a marriage counselor, in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready, steam-equipped, high-efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
We're back, and today we're talking about marriage. We're talking about divorce. We're going to show you the numbers. Ron McLain is here from the, what's the official name?
We are the Healthy Marriage Coalition, and we're also known as Marriage Mentoring Ministries. So we kind of go by two names.
All right, we'll have you scoot back up here just a little bit closer, and we're going to put some numbers up on the screen. I want to talk about the highest divorce rate in the entire nation, and that happens to be Nevada. The second highest would be Arkansas, followed by Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Wyoming. How about the lowest divorce rate in the entire country? Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, Rhode Island, New York, and California comes in at 21st around the nation. Ron, what do you make of some of these numbers here?
Well, first of all, I don't know where those stats came from because California doesn't really keep divorce statistics.
Well, they came. I got them off the internet, off this one website,
Okay.
and I can't remember what the name of it is, but it is pretty significant. It is reliable.
Yeah. So,
but what do you make of? I mean, does what part of the country that you live in, does that make a difference or not?
Well, I think typically the East Coast is more conservative as far as having Catholic roots. And so, having those backgrounds, I think divorce is probably less likely to happen, although with the younger generation, I don't think that's there as much. But I think California, being more of a liberal state, probably is more likely. The no fault divorce, I think President Reagan brought that in. It's easy to get divorced, whereas in some states, it's very difficult to get divorced.
It used to be difficult to file for divorce in any state.
In any state, right.
Not now. California, very simple. You can do it online.
Some states, you actually have to go to a year of counseling before they'll allow you to file for divorce.
Right. All right. Phone call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question for Ron McLain?
Hi. My question is first it's a comment. If couples were aware of the cost of divorce in a community property state like California, everyone's aware of the upfront cost of a wedding, the back costs of a divorce. If couples were aware of it at the front, how much it would cost a divorce, I think they'd be less likely to pursue divorce as an ultimate solution to a marriage gone wrong. That was my comment. My question is to Ron, your guest. Thank you very much. Counseling, what is the key? Is it possible that couples that are on the rocks, have a wedding marriage that's on the rocks, is it possible for what kind of preparations would you advise a couple in trouble prior to seeking out formal marital counseling? Could you help with that, Ron?
Well, I think, first of all, it takes two people to get married. It takes one person to get unmarried. And so when a couple decides to seek out help, obviously both of them need to want help. And that's sometimes hard to find because sometimes the wife comes, but the husband doesn't want to come.
Or vice versa.
So what we look for in a couple is that needs help is a couple that, first of all, wants help. Second, they're humble. In other words, they're willing to learn. They don't have all the answers. And then also they've got to be willing to learn communication skills and allow me or someone else to coach them on how to be effective in conflict resolution. We actually go through role playing. And see, the problem is a lot of couples, to be a plumber, you've got to get a license, you got to go through training. To get married, you don't have to have any training. And so basically.
Well, the same holds true when you have kids. There's
no
manual that comes with a kid.
Absolutely, same with parenting. So we're basically coming behind the marriage and doing what should have been done before they got married, and that is skills-based relationship skills training.
You mentioned role-playing. What's that all about? You actually have couples in session role-playing as to what happens in their house?
I have them pick an issue, a problem that they're dealing with, and they have to go knee to knee, and they have to start talking about that issue, and I coach them.
What if they can't talk? What if they're yelling at each other? What if
well,
they're going toe-to-toe?
Well, that doesn't happen in my office.
Okay.
We have boundaries.
You have security guards, right?
Yeah, their chair will eject them out of my office.
They don't know that you have a black belt. Is that right, Ron?
That's true, yeah. Well, what I tell them is, look, you can yell at each other at home for free. So if you're going to pay for this, let's make this productive, right?
Oh, my goodness. You ever had that happen?
A couple of times.
So does the role-playing help?
Absolutely.
Well, how do you get involved in the role-playing?
What
do you do?
First of all, I coach them on how to do the skill, okay?
Uh-huh.
Second of all, we take the issue they want to talk about, and then they go back and forth, and I watch them and observe them and coach them. and that does help them because they've never done it before.
Maybe we should have had you. I'd still be married.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's a joke, Ron.
Yeah.
We've got a call. Good morning. You're on with Ron McLain. What's your question? Hello, caller. Are you there?
I just wanted to know what are some of the basic things to get your marriage in that right spot where you're both on the same page.
Have you got your TV up? Can you turn your TV down, please?
Yes.
Turn your TV down, please.
I got it on mute.
Okay. What's your question again?
Can you give me a couple, just a couple of good, I just want to know where me and my wife can get on the same page, where we're basically on the same page, doing the right things and helping each other out and trying to get along with each other.
Right. That's a great question, and one that's often asked. Marriage is really about two people, and one of the things we encourage people to do is to show appreciations to each other every day. There's such a thing as a love bank, and every day I've got to put deposits into my wife's love bank. If all I'm doing is complaining to her or criticizing her or even ignoring her, her love bank is going to be depleted. So one thing I'd encourage you to do is once a day, share something that you appreciate about each other. The other thing would be to find something that you enjoy doing, like a date night, and switch every other week on who chooses where you go on a date night. You're never going to agree on everything, because if you agree on everything, one of you is not going to be needed.
But what do you do about those underlying issues that constantly haunt you about the other person? How do you resolve that?
Good question.
We'll talk about that on the other side of the break.
Great.
All right. Okay. We're talking with Ron McLain. He, of course, heads up the Healthy Marriage Coalition, and we're here to take your calls. Don't be bashful. If you're having problems at home, call in 436-ME-TV, option 11, and remember, turn down the sound on your television. Back with Ron McLain in a moment.
Don't you ever hit me again!
Chief, I think we got a hit on our
Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
We're back with Ron McLain talking about healthy marriage and divorce and all kinds of things. Let me ask you the same question we asked, of course, before the break, and that is, if you have these underlying issues that constantly pick at you and gnaw at you about your partner, the other person, what do you do about them? I mean, I'm not saying don't give your partner credit, don't praise them. I'm saying do all of the positive things that you mentioned. But what about those underlying issues?
Good question. There are always going to be issues with your spouse that you don't like, okay? Little things that kind of pick at you. What we say is don't die on every little hill. In other words, if you're going to have a blowout fight or an argument, make sure it's going to be about something really important. My wife and I have, after almost 44 years, we have issues about each other that still bug us. And yet what we've done is we've looked over that and said, it's more important that I love you in spite of who you are. I mean, you are who you are. And so I accept those things about her now instead of trying to change her. Couples are always trying to change each other. You can't change the other person.
What kind of skill set do you offer in counseling? What do you tell couples in conflict that are in conflict and trying to get out of it?
Right. First thing we say is think before you speak. Say something nice about the other person's character before you start talking about a hard issue. Consider their feelings. What we say is put your own thoughts on hold, crawl up into the heart of your spouse and imagine what they're going through, which is called empathy. So every one of us has an attorney in our head. When my wife starts talking to me about something, my attorney comes to life and starts to build a defense in my head about what she's saying. So I'm not really listening to her. So before long, we've got two attorneys in our heads arguing because we want to win the court case, right? And of course that doesn't work at all. So fire that attorney, put your own thoughts on hold, consider what the other person's feeling, and start the conversation with something good.
So that is pretty much the premise of your counseling?
Pretty much.
That's it?
Well,
simple as that, huh?
No, well, the skills are pretty simple. The hard part is getting the person
to execute,
to humble themselves to want to do it.
Okay.
Because we're all proud people, right?
Right.
We're all stubborn. We want it our way.
And what if that still doesn't work?
Well,
do you encourage them to stay together? Do you encourage them to quietly get a divorce? What?
I never encourage people to get divorced because
why?
I don't want to have that much power in their life.
Okay.
And in 30 years, I've only encouraged one couple to get divorced. And what I say is, look.
Were they going toe-to-toe?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
That's not my choice.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that powerful in your life to tell you what to. I don't tell people what to do.
No.
What I do is equip them with skills, give them options, and say, you have to make the best decision on these options, but I can't make that decision for you. You know?
So basically, from what I'm gathering from you, if I come in with my spouse and I'm talking to Ron McLain, that would be you. Basically, your advice to us would be put the other person first. Put yourself in their place and think of them first. And if the other person does the same thing, things are going to work out?
Things have a much better chance of working out, because if I'm just thinking about me and being selfish and the other person is too, nothing's going to change.
If you were to put a percentage on it, how many times has that theory worked for you?
I would say for couples that are in it to win it, they're humble, they want to make it work, I would say 80% of the time.
You have 80% success rate?
For couples that are cooperating and really want to make it work.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
All they need are the skills to make it work.
Two quick things. I want to put up one more graphic. We have one left, the national figures on divorce. Let's put that up quickly before we run out of time. 59% of all marriages across the country for women under the age of 18 end in divorce within 15 years. So you find that shocking or no?
No. Because
you think people get married too young sometimes?
I think sometimes they do, and they don't have the skills. And how many of us had good models growing up? How many of us saw our parents
I did.
loving each other?
I did.
And, okay.
I had great parents.
85-90% of all people in our classes, and we've had 4,500 couples go through our classes.
Yeah.
85% cannot remember a good model.
Quickly, before we run out of time, roll of videotape, gay marriage. Recently, Supreme Court decision, of course, they decided to stay out of the California mess and debate on gay marriage. Your thoughts on it, quickly, before we run out of time.
Well, I'm personally against gay marriage because I think marriage should be between a man and a woman.
But do you counsel gay couples?
I have never had a gay couple
but
come
you
to
would.
me. If they came to me, I would counsel them, yeah. But I would also tell them the truth about where I stand. I think children, the big issue we don't talk about is children. And children need a mom and a dad. I can't be a mom to my kids. My wife can't be a dad to our kids. That's the issue for me. That's the big issue.
Yeah, but I'm a single father, and sometimes I feel like I'm a mom and a dad. I don't know if you can understand that, but really you are. And if you're a single mom, I'm sure you're a mom and a dad.
You have to play those roles,
yes.
Unfortunately, and that's sad. And my heart goes out to single parents.
Yeah.
They're incredible people. They really are.
Yeah.
But when it comes to gay marriage, I just think God intended a man and a woman to be married.
You know, you'll have to come back and we'll talk about the effects that divorce has on children.
I'd love to, yeah.
And come back again and talk to us about that. Unfortunately, sadly, we're out of time.
Okay, John.
Doggone it. I wish we had an hour here to talk about this. You know, you're a great guy. Thanks, Ron. Come back again.
Okay, John, thanks.
All right, Ron McLain, of course, of the Healthy Marriage Coalition here in Fresno. Hey, hope you have a great weekend. On Monday, we have Paul Leffler. He is the play-by-play man for the Fresno State Bulldogs, football, baseball, basketball. He's our guy. He'll be here Monday. Have a good one. If it's Me TV, Fresno, you must be watching our show. Connect with me.
Look at that. Isn't that a great layout? You son of a gun.
This campaign is no good.
No good!
Darren and Larry, the original Mad Men on Bewitched.
Ready, Bo? Let's go.
Dr. Shields activated, Mr. Sulu.
Automatic, sir. And we're pushing to the limit.
Situation critical.
Base of action.
Can't break loose. Peace or utter destruction. It's up to you.
Star Trek, Saturdays at 9, 8 Central on MeTV. Brought to you by Ventura TV.